Does the judge have that power to override and supersede the constitutionally recognized God-given rights to freedom of the press guaranteed to humans in the Constitution?
He does.
Hello folks, and welcome back to Top Shelf Anarchy. We're here in the city of Mesa, Arizona. We're going to pay a visit to the Mesa City Hall this September 12th, 2022. Let's roll. It's you again.
Afternoon.
You gonna trespass me from here again too?
No, you're more than welcome to go anywhere on the first floor you like.
Garth White it is, correct?
Correct.
12877?
Exactly.
Okay. You got a minute for a couple questions?
Of course.
All right. So my question to you is, this is a public building, right?
Correct.
Accessible to the public?
Right.
Okay.
The first floor.
Right. The courthouse down the road, public building, right?
It is, but it's ruled through a court order. Superior Court ruling whatever it was on that piece of paper.
Okay. And when I was asking you the question, which one you're going to enforce, a ruling or the First Amendment to the Constitution, because I'm sure you'll agree they contradict each other, correct?
Well, should you have an issue with the ruling, petition the courts to change it.
We shouldn't have to petition the courts. We should have.
Unfortunately, that's the way it's set up, though.
Well, it's not the way it's set up. It's the way you want to do your job.
No.
Did you not swear an oath to protect the freedom of the press of American people, the private sector?
Do you know what my oath says?
Well, I know you swore an oath to the Constitution.
Do you know what my oath says?
Did you swear an oath to the Constitution
That's
or not?
part of what my oath is. Do you know what the other part is?
No, tell me the other part that you're
No,
referring
you can
to.
look it up.
You see, that's the problem. I come here to get answers, very serious
It
answers.
also says that I will uphold the Constitution of Arizona along with the Arizona laws.
Oh, I'm sorry. So does the Arizona Constitution have something in there that contradicts the freedom of speech guaranteed to us in the Constitution of the United States of America?
No.
It doesn't.
No,
So you weren't
but
enforcing.
a court ruling
So
does.
you weren't enforcing the Arizona Constitution against me. You were enforcing a judge's policy against me, correct?
I was holding a court ruling, which is different than a policy. A court ruling is a judgment.
Okay, it's a judgment.
Right.
Now, does that judge have the power
It does.
does what?
Has the power
To what?
to dictate what goes on in that courthouse.
Okay, so let me finish my question, because that wasn't my question.
Okay.
Does that judge have the power, and be honest with yourself, does the judge have that power to override and supersede the constitutionally recognized God-given rights to freedom of the press guaranteed to humans in the Constitution?
He does.
He has the power to override the Constitution.
As I said before, if you have an issue with the ruling, petition the court to change it.
We shouldn't have to do that. We should have.
But you have to.
Listen, I don't want to.
I know, we're not going to argue.
We're not going to argue. I just want to tell you what it is I'm doing. I am a journalist. And let me
I'm not saying you're not.
let me ask you something.
Never once have I said you're not a journalist.
My goal as a journalist is to make sure that government, and that includes judges, do not violate constitutionally recognized God-given rights that are enshrined in the Constitution.
But see, you're arguing with the wrong person.
I'm not.
You need to bring it up with the Superior Court of Arizona. Petition the court to change it.
Oh, we're going to do.
I can't change it.
We're going to do a little bit more than that, but you can't change it. But
I
here's
cannot.
Here's what I'm after. I'm after officers that are willing to swear an oath to the Constitution and then when they see clearly, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure it out, when they see clearly that a judge makes a ruling that contradicts the oath you swore to uphold, refuse to enforce it. That's what we're looking for. That is what we consider good government employees. The people that will adhere to and enforce a judge's ruling that contradicts constitutionally recognized God-given rights, that's not a good government employee.
Petition the court to have it changed. I cannot change it.
But you can, but you can give me the trespass warning, though, right? So you do have a hand in this.
Correct.
Correct.
Should you go over there again and try to film me something, I'll trespass you again.
Well, if I went over there, you'd arrest me, right?
Correct.
'Cause that's what
unless you were there on court business. If you're there on court business, then of course I would.
Well, the guy trespassed me. That security officer, who I put a freedom of information request in to get his name as well. He was the one that filed the complaint with you, and then you enforced a trespass warning,
Correct.
which violated my right to go in there to freedom of the press.
Petition the court.
Petition the court.
That made the ruling.
So do you think that there's maybe a problem with people that, hold on, you said no, and you don't even answer my, or have my question put forth yet. Do you see that there may be a problem having human beings with badges on their chest and guns on their hips? And I'm not worried about the gun so much. I'm worried about the badge on your chest that makes you unaccountable for what you do with that gun. Okay?
Of course it does.
Absolutely it does. We can go to the prime example of that one Mesa officer that shot that kid in the hotel. Right? He walked. That was murder, and he walked, okay? So I'm not worried about the gun. I'm worried about the badge that makes you unaccountable for what you do with that gun. But here's...
He was acquitted in a court of law.
He was acquitted in a court... In a Mesa City court of law.
No.
Or a state court of law.
Superior court.
Superior court. Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you think that maybe we should work to change the environment where police officers take their oath to human beings' constitutionally recognized God-given rights and have our officers trained more on the Constitution and be able to recognize when judges make rulings that violate the Constitution?
I cannot imagine a single officer who is going to go against a court ruling.
And that's the problem.
And then petition the court to change it.
Well, how about you stop swearing an oath to the Constitution and swear an oath to the judge's rulings?
Wow.
Because you swore an oath to the Constitution and enforced...
The Arizona Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona.
And you enforced a ruling that contradicts the freedom of speech. Listen, human beings, including you...
It's a ruling. Okay.
Including you...
I think we're going to have to agree to disagree.
Well, we can agree to disagree, but the problem is we still have officers that don't care about the Constitution.
I'm not going to entertain this conversation any longer. We both have our own opinions.
It's not an opinion.
I'm not going to change mine. You're not going to change yours. Petition the court if you don't think the ruling is fair.
I shouldn't have to petition the court.
That's what you have to do.
I shouldn't have to worry about officers that will violate the press's rights to freedom of the press. Okay. We shouldn't have to worry about that. But we can't. Well, we have to worry about it. We have you here.
You have to petition the court to change the ruling.
So you don't take any responsibility? None whatsoever?
Zero.
So you don't think, and just like that officer that shot that kid in that hotel, he took zero responsibility? Zero.
I wasn't there. I wasn't involved in that.
You saw the video.
That he was arrested, he went to trial, and he was acquitted.
Yeah, of course. Of course. That's Arizona for you.
That's
Arizona.
So, due process.
The problem is, I want to be able to live my one life without having to fear that government employees will violate constitutionally protected rights.
Again, petition the court.
Petition the court. No responsibility for me whatsoever.
None.
That's the problem. The gun on the hip's not the problem. It's the badge on your chest that makes you unaccountable for what you do. And that's wrong on so many different levels.
And again, I'm not going to argue with you anymore on this issue. I'm not going to entertain our conversation. We can agree to disagree.
That's a crying shame.
Okay.
That's a crying shame.
You have recourse.
I went to that court to do a story on traffic courts and to speak with the city attorney. You stopped me from doing that by threatening to put your hands on me, commit state-sanctioned kidnapping, and lock me in a cage, and that badge would make you unaccountable. Do you see the problem with your job?
No.
You know what a good officer would do? A good officer, hold on, I'll tell you what I expect as somebody that has money ripped out of my check. What I expect for my money that's stolen in the form of taxes, I expect police officers to go to that courthouse and say to the security people, this man has a First Amendment right to freedom of the press. He's not causing a disturbance here. You let him through. But you didn't do that. Instead, nor will you ever. So you will never protect constitutionally protected rights.
The court ruling has changed. Supreme Court of Arizona came out with a ruling which we followed.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Anything else for me?
The badge, unaccountable for anything you do.
Anything else for me before I leave?
So you think you can commit state-sanctioned kidnapping? Are you above kidnapping laws?
I am not continuing with this conversation.
Do you realize
You
that
may wander around on this first floor anywhere you wish. The door is not closed. And do as you wish.
what's accessible to the public here?
This lobby,
Uh-huh.
the bathrooms down that hallway, and into the human resources ante-lobby there.
What about the mayor's office?
No, you can make an appointment to go see the mayor.
So we can't go into the mayor's office and make an appointment face to face.
No, you call and make an appointment.
Wow.
Anywhere else in this building, any office in this building, you call and make an appointment. You can't get past the first floor without an appointment.
Wow. That's super unfortunate to hear.
But that's unfortunately the way it is.
Yeah. A gun on the hip and a badge make you unaccountable for what you do with that gun.
Anything else for me?
Yeah, I'd like to know how you are above kidnapping laws.
I did not kidnap you.
You were threatened it.
I would not have kidnapped you.
If I had to walk,
Kidnapped you, I would have arrested you.
you would have arrested me. You can call it whatever you want.
As do you.
I was exercising freedom of the press.
And it was
You would have
explained to you
kidnapped
before
me.
the Supreme Court ruling of Arizona that you couldn't do what you were doing. You didn't understand that. You didn't care about that.
You don't care that I have a God-given right to freedom of the press that's recognized in the Constitution you swore an oath to uphold.
First Amendment.
First Amendment, exactly. Do you know the other 4 points of the First Amendment, sir?
Tell me.
Do you know it?
Please enlighten me.
Freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Do you know them?
No, tell me.
You clearly don't know them. What's the Fourth Amendment?
You tell me.
What's the Fourth Amendment? You don't even know, do you?
I know them all.
You swore no. Oh, really? What's the Fourth
I'm
Amendment?
not going to play this game with you. I'm going to explain this to you.
Quartering, maybe.
Quartering, yes, I think
Wha-
that's
What?
the six.
That's a 6. Oh, so you don't know the Constitution.
I
So
don't
you
know.
swore an oath to the No wonder you threatened me with state-sanctioned kidnapping, sir.
Anyway,
You don't even know the
You're
Constitution.
welcome to go anywhere on this.
Oh, I know what I'm allowed to do. You don't know what I'm allowed to do. You threatened me with state-sanctioned kidnapping on August 22nd, 2022. You threatened me with state-sanctioned kidnapping. You're not above kidnapping laws, sir. I have a right to freedom of the press. You, Garth White, 12877, threatened me, Sean Morley, with state-sanctioned kidnapping. You decided to enforce a judge's ruling over my constitutionally recognized God-given rights to freedom of the press. Shame on you. And this isn't the end of this. Trust me, I will see you in court.
Okay.
That is so wrong. It's so immoral and unethical what you
I'll
did.
see you in court.
I expected you to defend my right to freedom of the press at that courthouse.
Goodbye.
You failed in your duties. You swore an oath to the Constitution to protect Americans, not even Americans, all humans' rights to freedom of the press, and you failed at that. Garth White, 12877, failed in his duties. Shame. Such a shame.
You're dismissed. Thank you.
I'm dismissed. Look at this guy. This is what, guys, this is what you call a sociopathic nut job with a gun on his hip and a badge that makes him unaccountable for what he does with that gun. He's above kidnapping laws. He can just do it because some judge completely gets rid of the First Amendment inside a public building, accessible to the public. Shame. What a shame. Shame on you. So there you go, guys. That was Officer Garth White. We found him here at City Hall. Man in the front desk. Couldn't answer questions. Such a shame. Such a shame.